Shalom. I want to start by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching us scriptures, among other things, and salutations to all the Akyom across the earth doing this work in sincerity and in truth. And Shalom to the sincere brothers and sisters who are at home watching the videos and do the best to please Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai. So yeah, man, this video, was an article that I stumbled upon and you know basically every day basically every day, if you go to your daily things, it's very frustrating. Yeah, very frustrating, very annoying to deal to be under these devils, and of course it's part of our punishment. We didn't want to hearken. Let me jump real quick to the book of Baruch. Because you didn't want to hearken. That's also why we went into slavery. We didn't want to hearken. We didn't want to please Yahweh Basham Yahushai. We didn't want to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We wanted to be like the heathens, started sacrificing to devils and these idols and all that shit. So eventually we got us in a situation that we are nowadays, and it's very tiresome, because these people, who are in rulership right now, these Edomites, the so-called white people, they're all about bullshit. They're stupid, man. Even, like they always make the same jokes. They got the same remarks, they think they're clever, and it's very annoying, with my job, the work that I do, I be in maintenance painter. So a lot of I do a lot of houses also, so I be you got this how do you call that, living areas, we got all these houses. So when I be painting in a house, you always got people going outside, Edomites, they greet you, they looking at you, are you working? And they make jokes amongst each other, and they think they're very interested, they feel themselves like they are made people, that like they accomplish something, but they, empty, if you hear their conversations, it's empty. It's always the same bullshit, the same dumb shit, and it's very, sometimes it's, it's always vexing, but sometimes it's more vexing than other times, and then there's also this article. I'm like, yeah, you have a grown-ass man, John Wiersma, a man of 42 years old, and so what is he doing? He's making a book with the penises, with 100 penises. So how the fuck can you, as supposed to be a grown, straight man, how do you say that? How the fuck does it come into your mind? Let me put it like this: how the fuck does it come into your mind to make a book about wieners? You're a grown ass man. You know, so it makes no sense, man. It's vanity, man. Let me see. This is the book of Baruch, concerning that we are under these devils, because and also let me jump real quick to the book of Deuteronomy, because there also it explains, talks about the curses, because you didn't want to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and this is what happened. Let me see. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and let me read verse 15 first. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And from verse 16 till verse 68 is all curses that are still in effect, So let me see. Let me see. Let me jump to verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle fleet, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. So what happened at the plantations, for example, the cotton plantations, as soon as child could walk, it had to be on the plantation, start to pick cotton, old man, or a woman who can't work that hard anymore, beaten with a whip, literally to death, things like that, and all these things we had to suffer, are people still being sold in slavery, in countries like Libya, for example. Yeah, and yeah, basically that, and let me see. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and 6. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved Yahweh to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to Yahweh. Because those are the things that we are doing. Those are the things that a lot of our people still doing. For example, the Surinamese, they got the Winti going on. The Dominicans, they do the breweria. Of course, the Haitians, they do all those things. So, yeah, it's not only the Dominicans, but also, all our people, they've been doing it all over the world. This worshipping of entities and all that. Ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nourished you. For when she saw the wrath of Yahweh come upon you, she said, Hearken, O ye that dwell about Zion, Yahweh hath brought up up on me great mourning, for I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. Let me see. Let me jump to verse 15. For he had brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation, and of a strange language, who neither received old man nor pity child, like I read in verse 49, So he had brought a nation up upon them from far, a shameless nation. So and this right here is an example that how do you say that? That these people have no shame. This is just one of the examples. Don't forget, man, they like to go, especially when they are old and all wrinkled up, and fat, bent out of shape, Then they want to be on the naked beaches, They go to saunas, group saunas, looking at each other, being naked, Things like that. They enjoy that. Fucking filthy people, and a lot of them, they be, you know, uh, you know, uh, going after the young ones, things like that. Majority of them, they've been doing, especially the Dutch Edomites. They every time when they got a network of those who are, you know, uh, trying to, try to catch those little ones, or watching videos or whatever, or what they do, messing with the young ones, those people, if they got like a big network rolled up, there's always Dutch people involved in that, whether they are made that network or have a high position in that, But these people, this is yeah, it's messed up. That's what it is, it's messed up. It's fucking BS, man. Matter of fact, think about another scripture. I think it's Micah, if I'm correct. Let me check real quick. Where met we? A moment. Let me see. Is it? Yeah, let me see. I think it's Micah. Yeah. It's the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. And that's exactly what's going on, It's polluted, even with, it shall destroy you. even with a sword destruction. When you see things like this, I'll be like, my shit, man. And these people are in rulership, you know. And like I said, yeah, it's part of our punishment, but nevertheless, it doesn't mean that it's not a vaccine, you know. This is the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Yeah, you know, with his white Jesus, all that bullshit, you know. White Adam naked, touching the hand of God, you know, all this fucking bullshit. Angels, making angels looking like little babies with the wieners out, you know. And these people want to proclaim that they are God's chosen people, man. They're all about minus, man. How the fuck can you make an angel look like a baby, man? That's already shows you your spirit, you know, which is really filthy, man. Dirty. Let me see. There's also something else in my mind. Yeah, the book of Romans. Let me read that. It's the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 21. Because the creature itself also. Let me start from the top again. This is the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 21. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption and to the glorious liberty of the children of Yahweh. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travailed in pain together until now. Yeah, the animals are suffering, whales are beaching themselves, fishes are beaching themselves, birds are trying and dying. You know, like here in Holland, they shooting on the goose. They said they have too much goose running around. They shoot them. Meanwhile, they be sitting on the eggs. You know, things like that. You know, like you got a raccoon dog that recently came in Holland. So they capture those raccoon dogs and shooting them because they be like they don't belong here. You know, the one that doesn't belong here are your so-called white people, man. You Edomites, you don't belong on this planet, man. And that's why when Yahushua is gonna come back, y'all gonna go in captivity, hardcore bondage. You know, you're gonna work your ass off. You have slavery. It's gonna come your way. And after 1,000 years, you so-called white people, you Edomites, gonna be exterminated because y'all don't belong here, man. That's what it is. Mm, for we know that the whole creation groaneth and travailed in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruit of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption to wit, the redemption of our body. Yeah, you know, we sick and tired of this world, man. We sick and tired of this world, you know. Yeah, we really sick and tired, man. This is fucking bullshit, man. Fucking bullshit. Let me read the article a little bit, jump into that. Let me see. What I've got here. So this is from AD News, you know, which is a news platform. They also got newspapers, you know. So John Wiersma made a photo book with 100 penises and the story behind them. You know, so how the fuck you're a grown-ass man, you want to call yourself a straight man, but here you are taking pictures of wieners, you know, and then the story behind it. But also you as a man, you know, voluntarily let a dude take a picture of your wiener, man. It's fucking bullshit, man. Honest about dicks. Photographer John hoped for all sizes and shapes, and that's what he got. A book with 100 dicks. Then banality is of course lurking. Hey pick by Eindhoven. So hey pick literally means hey cock, you know, basically. By Eindhoven photographer John Riersma. However, sketches in words and images and a disarming and vulnerable picture of how men think about their young masters. Fucking bullshit, man. You see that? So these people, they bring nothing, man. They bring nothing. They're really useless, man. What the fuck do they, you know? All that they did, you know, they pollute the earth. Doesn't matter where they are, whether it be in public transportation, Have they be throwing the shit on the street, fucked up the air, the water, the food. They even got trash floating down in space. So these people are fucking useless, man. These people are fucking useless. This is the book of Job, chapter 30 and 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have sat with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished? For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, in former time desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as a thief, as after a thief, to dwell in the cliff of the valley, in caves of the earth and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And here's another example of how filthy these creatures are, man. Fucking useless. Don't forget, man, Job didn't even want to put them with the dogs. Why not? Because they do things with the dogs also. There are so many articles, so-called dog trainers doing things with the dog, with dogs, which is unseemly, man. It's the book of Daniel, chapter 4, verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of man, and giveth it to whosoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of man. And that's the situation that we are in nowadays. And like I said, it's part of a punishment, but it doesn't mean that is not grieving, that is not annoying, and these people, they are also proud on each other for bullshit, boasting each other. Oh, great job, what's his name again? uh John. Oh, great work, John. Dude, man, you did a beautiful book, man. Dope. I'm gonna buy that book too. Of course, man. Go buy that book, and look at wieners. Fucking idiots, man. Fucking idiots. Man. So let me see. The book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. A profane means outside of the temple. This, that's he's not for nothing the basis of man, because amongst all the heathens, he's the most filthy, the lowest. The also concerning his knowledge is really stupid, man. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For you know how that afterward he would have inherit the blessing. He was rejected, for he found no place of repentance. So that also shows you can't repent. You just gonna pay when Yahushua is gonna come back. Though he sought it carefully with tears, and he's gonna cry. He been crying, but he's gonna cry when Yahushua is gonna come back, and he's gonna realize that Yahushua, who the world in ignorance called Jesus, is a dark-skinned man. And as soon as people, all these heathens start to realize that, when they realize that, they know that they are in a fucked up position, because all of one of them have, how you say that, have a hand in our situation, the situation that we are. Whether they had us in captivity, or they profiting from the fact that we are at the bottom. It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 10. What nation had not had a part in the kingdom and gotten of her spoils? You see that? So go ahead and try to name one nation that is not profiting from the fact that we are at the bottom, or had us in captivity, or whatever, or taking or still are abusing us. So yeah, man, basically that, man. I'm gonna leave the video like that, but like I said, it's fucking bullshit, man. It's fucking bullshit. These people are are fucking useless, man. And like I said, thus said the Bible, after 1,000 years of hardcore labor, intense labor, these so-called white people, the Edomites, gonna be exterminated, man. And that's what it is. So yeah, man, with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Kakadash, a double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching the scriptures, among other things, and salutations to all the Akyam across the earth who doing this work in sincerity and in truth. And shalom to the sincere brothers and sisters who are at home watching the videos and do the best to please Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai. So yeah, man, with that, I'm going to say shalom.